Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I just want to say that the title for this presentation was kindly handed to me. It wasn't my own creativity. Unfasten the Leash. Interesting title, and subtly I thought I may need to tone this down a little bit. So instead, on the same vein, we'll just talk about the future of productivity, which will be a little bit more polite way of saying you need to get more mobile. So, you know, I've been at Microsoft just over 10 years now, and the amount of change that I've sort of seen as regards the devices and the technologies and so on. My personal working style at Microsoft is pretty much wherever I have an internet connection, that is my office. And that is becoming more and more a sort of work style that people are evolving towards. If we look at the sort of changes that we're seeing around the world, the sort of technologies, the devices that people are using are changing very, very rapidly. We're seeing the massive growth of things like smartphones, slate-based devices. The way people are communicating now is vast and varied. Email, voicemail, instant messaging, voice over IP calling. There's a whole vast array in which people communicate. And you know, the conversations that were going on earlier by the previous speakers about the generations of people coming into organizations is that it shocks me when I present in front of some audiences where the audience members are of an age where they've only ever known the internet to exist. And I remember those things called modems that had like proper flashing lights and made really cool noises. That's gone, okay? You know, now it's about always on, always connected. And that's got quite a few challenges for business. It's a case of we know that technology can enable people, but it's, are we putting the right sort of practices, are we putting the right sort of things in place to actually make that possible for our business? And so a lot of the work that Microsoft has been looking at is that how do we actually embrace this more mobile way of working, more flexible working for organizations large and small. So if you look at some of the sort of trends that are driving the technology designs from Microsoft, you know, it's sort of Gartner sort of estimating that 20% of businesses by the end of next year will own no IT assets. And certainly when I speak to organizations, entrepreneurs, startups and so on, about if you had a choice of actually buying an email server, a box that you would physically run on premise within your building, or actually consuming this workload of email from a cloud-based service where you just pay per user, and as your business is more successful, you just add more subscriptions to that way of consuming these services. Which option would you choose? Not one of them decided they would like to buy a server and patch and maintain it, which I thought was quite telling. Just before I inadvertently upset anybody, how many of you here are from an IT role or an IT function? If you just raise your hand. Okay, and those that are more from the sort of business side, if you just raise your hand. And those that aren't sure, okay, good. Just as a matter of, this is just one for the IT guys. When it comes to building out your infrastructure, particularly email is one of the ones that I find to be more of an interesting topic. Is that, you know, IT professionals, they will come in at the weekends, they will patch and update the email service. So as business people, we can come in on a Monday morning and email is, as we expect, in our inbox. Question to the IT guys, have you ever had a business person come down and thank you for coming and doing those? It doesn't happen, okay? Why is that? Yeah, email is still critical to the way we do business. And so, you know, this idea of actually understanding that email is still on the rise, despite other forms of communication, it's still on the rise. And so we need to look at how do we actually take those workloads of patching and maintaining servers to a cloud-based platform, therefore freeing time for our IT departments and teams. Perhaps look at putting a business intelligence solution in that gives you a better insight to what's going on in your business. Perhaps helping the business leverage the technologies that are already there in more collaborative ways. Perhaps start managing documents rather than just storing documents on file shares. So it starts to open up new dimensions as regards the value that IT brings to business rather than it just being seen as an invisible cost. So there's quite a lot of things going on there. And Microsoft is looking at how do we actually span these trends. So, you know, we're very much committed to providing the best experience we can on a Windows-based PC, on a Windows-powered phone, and through a browser that's called Internet Explorer. But as a more mature organization, we're aware that there are other devices and other browsers and other operating systems there. So, you know, our strategy is very much to provide the best experience that we can on a Windows-powered platform, but make sure we provide a good experience if you're using other technologies. Okay? I'm quite biased in my opinions, not because I'm paid to do that, but I am a self-confessed geek, and I love our technologies and really believe that some of the things that we're doing, certainly with our mobile strategy, is really starting to bring productivity to people on the move. And also this cloud thing. You know, we don't expect businesses that have already made investments in infrastructure to just switch everything off and just throw things into the cloud. We see this very much as an evolution of technology. And so for some organizations, they may decide that actually it's more cost effective for us to actually remove servers from branch offices that we have around the country or around the world, and we'll actually move those mailboxes to a cloud-based solution. But in our head office, we'll continue to run Exchange Server 2010 for our email, okay? And that's fine, and that's called a hybrid sort of model. And you know, for the last couple of years, the industry has used the word cloud quite liberally. Pretty much everything, you just stick the word cloud in front of it and it's all new and exciting. I predict for the next 12 months, the word that you're going to see used and abused is hybrid, because that's the sort of model that people are taking, a hybrid approach as regards devices and how they actually consume cloud. So Microsoft is taking the same enterprise-class software that powers some of the largest organizations in the world and actually making that available through a cloud-based service. In fact, Exchange Server 2010, our mail platform, was originally architected for a cloud-based platform and then scaled to become an on-premise server product. So there's a familiarity as regards the technologies that Microsoft are delivering there. So I'd say the future productivity very much is about combining cloud and devices. Many people in this room are probably already receiving email to some form of device. Just as a matter of interest, I always like to ask the question, just for records, how many of you are currently using an iOS or an iPhone device? If you just raise your hand. Okay, Android device? Okay, BlackBerry device? Excellent. Nokia device? Soon to be Windows Phone. And Windows Phone device. These guys that have just got their hand up now, take a good look. They've already seen the future. Okay? You want to network with these guys, they're smart. Okay? So, you know, we sort of see this sort of transition that's happening there. So, we've done a lot of work around Windows Phone. We're currently at 7.5 release. We're going to show a little bit about Windows Phone and some of the other capabilities that brings both in the business and personal space. A great motivational speaker said, time management is very, very easy. You have 8 hours of work, 8 hours of fun, and 8 hours of sleep. Why I've got all those books on time management, I don't know if it's that simple. So I've got the joyous task of making the work part of our day-to-day life seem relatively interesting, whereas Paul's going to actually take more of the sort of fun side of the work we've done there as well. When it comes to the cloud, Microsoft is doing a lot of things around cloud computing, but one of the technologies that's really capturing our customers' imagination is Office 365. And as I say, Office 365 is taking enterprise-class products that are already familiar to our customers, bringing the latest versions of those technologies and delivering those on a subscription basis from the cloud. So we're providing the latest Exchange Server 2010, the latest SharePoint server for collaboration, document management, information sharing, and also something called Link. We used to have a technology called Office Communication Server 2007 R2 plus Live Meeting, which was quite a long title. Presentations tended to go on quite a while. We've evolved that platform, we've merged those two technologies together, and we now have a technology called Link. This is for unifying communications, voice over IP, voice calls, IM, and so on. And we also make that available online. So those are the server side products. And also for the first time, we also make available Office Professional Plus, the desktop suite of tools, as a subscription as well to complement those cloud-based services. So really, really strong proposition there around the productivity platform. So I'm going to attempt some live demos. Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Not necessarily for you, but for me, given the connectivity challenges. So please be kind. It's my first time. So let's have a look. So if I just want to say that I am genuinely a technical person, and if there are people who've got any sort of technical questions, I'm going to be around all day. So please save those difficult questions for when I'm not in front of everybody. I have a reputation to keep. You know, if I was a salesperson, then I would use this opportunity to plug Bing as the future of internet search. But I wouldn't stoop that low. That would be wrong of me to do that. But it is quite good. I mean, this idea of people that are coming into business today, the way that they work, they're used to having like 6 instant message conversations going on. And whilst all that's going on, they're using voice over IP to actually call their friends around the world. And whilst all that's going on, they're searching the internet using their favorite internet search engine, which, as you all now know, is Bing. But that's the way they work. And then they come into a business and they say, right, okay, where's my system to connect with the business and da-da-da? And you go, yes, this is your phone. Enjoy. It's just not going to fly anymore. Okay? They're used to mobile technology. They're used to click to actually dial people and connect with people. And that's really, really important. So just so I make sure I cover everybody. One of the biggest concerns I hear from IT departments about embracing the cloud is that you lose control. Okay? This is not true. Myth number 1, not true. Okay? The administration of our online systems has been greatly enhanced to ensure as an IT department you have full control of customizing and configuring your environment for mail, for unified communications, and also collaboration. There are obviously some things that make sense for cloud that we've addressed, such as bringing the security technologies online there as well. So a really, really robust platform. So IT guys, this is how you're able to actually manage those platforms. If you take the first sort of workload around email, this is the latest Outlook web app. Yes, Outlook web app. We used to call it Outlook Web Access. You can still call it OWA as the acronym, as Microsoft people tend to call it. But we now call this Outlook web app. And there's a reason for this, and I will get to that in a moment. And we've really tried to create, if I go to any PC that's got a browser, it could be called Internet Explorer 9, or it could be called something else. We ensure that we work with other browsers as well. I can actually come into my email and I get a very, very rich experience. The fact that I'm not patching and maintaining my email environment anymore means that I can now focus on improving usability. Now inside Microsoft, we get quite a lot of new people join throughout the year. And one of the things that you can always spot a new person in Microsoft, they're extremely excitable. They are so excited to be at Microsoft because they're going to save the company, every single one of them that comes through the door. And the first thing they want to do is just tell everyone that they've joined the company. And one of the things that you can do now is actually set tips to help people be a little bit more effective with their day-to-day email. And this is an example where we try and discourage that kind of behavior because it just clogs people's mailboxes up. And if I'm sending email to other people in the organization, so Chris, great, and then demo. And the other things that we've looked at is how do we actually improve productivity. So, if you send an email on a Monday morning, great, got all this work done, and all of a sudden you start getting out-of-office responses coming back. It's just not good. So again, we've made it a lot smarter around how we actually provide information wherever I happen to be. This is browser. Obviously, I'll get the same rich experience within the Outlook client.